learned is this thing called pacing with your nervous system. I'm still learning it. There's a lot of layers upon layers to it once I figured it out and saw the benefit it had on my life and how much I needed it. So now I'm just like going on that journey and perfecting it. But what pacing with your nervous system does is it helps slow you down. It helps you make more smarter decisions. It helps you be able to digest information better, to react to things in a healthier way. Just overall just experience life in a better way. Like it's the proper way that I believe to like go throughout life and like how to interact with people and how to just be but not have all the other chaos in your head, like all those anxious thoughts or like worrying if like you're being normal. This is all like what I've been going through. Like, I used to have like a lot of anxious thoughts, or I would be like in conversations with people and I'd be worrying about if I was normal. Like I have had a harder time with talking. I don't know if you guys have noticed on here. I can talk a little bit scattered or fast or all over the place. I get a lot of comments on it, like in my personal life and on the internet. I freaking know, and I've been trying to work on it. And everything I was doing was like not helping until I found this. So, what it is, it's like a way of, how do I put it into words? I'm gonna say like digesting information, kind of, but like with yourself, and instead of like projecting, like let's say there's something that you notice or there's something that is bothering you. Well, I'm gonna go to me because it's all me. Like in the past, there'd be things that I would notice or things that would bother me, and I would just want to call someone and just rant about it and try to figure it out with them. But with but what pacing with your nervous system does is it makes you figure out the stuff with you first and build a space within where you feel comfortable about figuring out this stuff, if I'm making sense. Like where you create a safe space within where, like, let's say a feeling will come up. Maybe it's like a anxiety, it's from a situation that weirded you out. And instead of like me in the past, like overthinking the situation, wanting to like talk about it with everyone or, project, I'm learning to feel my feelings when that comes up and like be comfortable with feeling those feelings. Like let's say like I'm like going into what's going on in my mental inner world. I'm able to just like sit with myself and my feelings and like I guess you could say love them for what they are. Okay, that's like the more like psychological like self-help era, but like and creating this relationship with yourself where you have the space to sit on things, feel things. You don't have to think through it because when I think through it, I like go this place and that place and it doesn't get me anywhere. But like just letting the situation in your body, shall I say, in yourself, in your inner world, and just being with it and being present with it. And then from that place, it actually dissolves. I don't have the urge to project about it. Maybe there'll be less ranting podcasts on here. Who knows? I love ranting to you guys. Like I'd be like going through it. I come on the podcast and I'm like, oh my god, da da da. But it does kind of like dissolve the urge to do all that stuff. And the reason why this life lesson has came up for me is because I was diagnosed with ADHD as a kid. I don't know if you can tell. I don't know if it's like obvious or anything, but it's been an ongoing battle of mine because I didn't want to attach to the label of ADHD too much, especially what I've seen the label of ADHD become over time with our generation. Like there was literally a trend on TikTok to diagnose yourself with ADHD. Like there was literally ADHD talk. There is ADHD talk. And I think when you get too attached to like labels like that, you make it your whole personality. And you don't allow yourself to grow, or you use it as excuses to not get better, or don't think there's a way out, or think you have to do like prescriptions or whatever the case is. Not like getting in that controversial subject of labels and like people getting prescriptions for and all that. I know there's like a whole side of that where people think it's like, no, you don't need to get prescribed anything and I don't care. Okay, anyways. So, I myself just didn't like to hold on to the like label of ADHD. Like I didn't want to be like these Gen Z kids going around and just constantly saying, I have ADHD, I have ADHD in like every single conversation and like constantly like labeling everything they do and act as like as ADHD. And it's like literally just their whole personality. But as I grew up, Um, I would have awkward situations with people where I'm talking fast, no one's understanding me, I'm really annoying, and I would have other awkward situations just like throughout growing up and like being an adult on my own where I didn't understand why I was like that, like where I would get really messy or um I like have the ADHD paralysis, shall I say, or just really like specific things that were affecting my life that I was doing because of this label of ADHD. So I did start to look more into it and I did start to attach more to this label, which wasn't a bad thing. Like I do think we need labels sometimes. Like it really did help me like figure out that it's just ADHD and it's not me, and like learning more about ADHD made me feel like more understood and like not want to like hate myself so much because I'm like, oh, like I do all this stuff that I hate about myself because I have ADHD. Um, but at the end of the day, like even though it was ADHD, I still felt like there's a way to cure ADHD, which that sounds crazy, but I didn't want to like stick to living with that, like living like that because I mean, I had a hard time connecting with people. I could never just be in a conversation with a group of people and then leave that conversation and be like, oh yeah, I just interacted with everyone completely normal. I didn't say anything weird. I didn't overshare. I didn't take up the whole conversation. No one got annoyed with me. That would always happen to me after interacting with people. So it made it so I was never able to just fully feel connected to others. And I was like really like loner vibes. But I recently learned the teachings of like pacing with yourself. And I realize all of that stuff that I do that I'm just not so happy about with myself is because I'm just not pacing with my nervous system. Like, what it is like I feel like ADHD is I want to move so fast. I want to do this. I want to do that. I want to talk here, think there, and I have all these ideas. Da 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 da. But like my nervous system, myself, can't keep up with all of that. So like I'm going like 100 miles an hour like in my head, but like myself in general, like I'm way slower than that. So it's just like a disattachment from like my inner world and my outer world. And maybe that's why like when things came up in my inner world, I would go run to the outer world and just project to my friends or over talk about it or overshare or whatever the case is. But with pacing with your nervous system, what it is like you're taking everything in life a step at a time. Like that's why pacing with your nervous system is such a layered concept. So like I started using it as like, okay, with my feelings. Like, okay, there's a feeling coming up and it's frustrating me and it's got me wanting to talk about it or figure it out. So instead of like going to someone, let me just pace with myself and bring it in. And let's just start with sitting with the feeling. And doing this gets rid of this frantic place I can go to or this energetic place that I can go to or this rush I usually get because I'm just adding structure that I've never had into my head, into my inner world, to myself. Like pacing is also like just bring like making more structure to things. Cuz there's this thing called ADHD paralysis where um a lot of people with ADHD will have these moments of laying down and thinking of all these things that they want to do, but never being able to do anything and they just end up laying down all day, which I would experience that. But if you pace with yourself, you slow down your thoughts and all the things that you want to do and you pace with what you can do. So instead of being like, I need to do this, I want to do that, oh my gosh, like, and thinking of all the productive things you would do, it's like, oh, what am I able to do in the moment? Well, I'm able to just get up right now. Okay, pacing, slowing it down. Oh, I can brush my teeth right now. Cool. All right, I did that. Now let's just do my whole skincare and get ready. Pacing, not okay, skincare routine, okay, now I need to clean this. That's when it's like out of pacing. And it's an ongoing practice. Like this is a new thing that I just learned and I have to like recondition it into my mind, I guess, and get rid of old conditioning where I like will be really speedy. So the speedy side of Brianna still comes out ever since learning this, and that's okay, and I'm learning just to accept her. But since learning pacing with myself, I'm able to get out of that speedy side of Brianna that will frustrate me, where I'm really speedy in conversations and interacting with people, and I rush things, and I'm chaotic and messy and blah 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 blah. It might still be part of me, but it's just a behavior that I learned, and through conditioning, it's kind of my subconscious go-to thing, like just to speed or to be energetic or whatever all the things ADHD does, because I've just been doing it all my life. So now that I'm relearning this new programming I found of pacing my nervous system, it's just going to be like an ongoing journey. And right now I'm just figuring it out and seeing how important it is in my life and how there's so many layers to it, and things I can do with it. And I'm just practicing with pacing my feelings first, and then maybe I'll be pacing with my work, and then pacing with this, and then eventually it'll become easy for me, and I'll just be slow, and I don't have to say pacing with my nervous system. I just am pacing. So yeah, that's what I learned. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe.